Inspired by Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning's release getting overshadowed by Barbenheimer, even though it turned out a fantastic movie, our latest topic is centered around movies that were extremely impressive but were unfortunately overshadowed by the hype of another film that was released around the same time as them. Regardless of the reason for this type of scenario, plenty of otherwise great movies have ended up overshadowed and underrated, with people only discovering their quality at a much later point, if at all. We're starting off with Nightmare Alley. Although it received multiple Oscar nominations, including ones for Best Picture and Best Cinematography, Nightmare Alley wasn't a movie that drew the largest audiences on its release date on December 17, 2021. Instead, the Guillermo del Toro movie was overshadowed by the release of Spider-Man: No Way Home. Nightmare Alley is based in the 1930s, and it follows a man named Stanton Carlyle who takes on a job with a carnival and works his way up from a low-level worker there. While working there, he learns about the deceptive, unethical practices of the owner and other carnival workers and becomes unwillingly entangled in their dangerous scheme. Despite the movie receiving acclaim from both audience and critics, it did not hit the heights it could have if it wasn't released at the same time as one of the most hyped movies of the year.
No, that's it. That's it.
In our fourth spot, we'll try not to laugh with The Nice Guys. The Ryan Gosling-led neo-noir action film proved to be one of the funnier comedy releases of the 2010s, at least in our opinion. Thing is, the film had zero chance of blowing up and receiving lots of attention, considering it released just 2 weeks after the theatrical debut of Captain America: Civil War, a massive Marvel blockbuster to say the least. The Nice Guys follows Gosling in the role of a private detective and Russell Crowe in the role of an enforcer as they team up to investigate the disappearance of a teenage girl. The pair delivers a memorable comedic performance, with them showing amazing chemistry and reminding the audience of iconic comedy duos from times past, such as Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. Sadly, the production managed to gross just $63 million on a $50 million budget. Compared to this, Captain America: Civil War became the highest grossing film of the year with over $1 billion.
As long as you get the results.
We finally finish an iconic story in our next spot with Before Midnight. The Before trilogy is one of the most heartfelt, realistic depictions of romance ever shown on the big screen, and Before Midnight was the film that finally brought closure to the trilogy 18 years after Before Sunrise was released. Although there was a lot of interest in the film and it was the most watched out of the trilogy, its release coincided with the release of the final part of a much more hyped trilogy, Iron Man 3. Before Midnight follows the now married Jesse and Celine, with their youthful naivety gone and now replaced with tiredness from them having to deal with the challenges of their long-term commitment. The film, which showed the very realistic conclusion of their story, was the most successful of the three, generating a box office total of $23 million. But it had no chance considering the recent release of the Marvel blockbuster.
For who I was?
That's me. I'm that guy.
As a runner-up, we have a surprise pick with Shawshank Redemption. Most people probably won't believe this, considering Shawshank Redemption's status as an absolute classic, but the movie didn't do too well when it first released. It actually flopped at the box office, with most audience members ignoring it in favor of Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction, two other classic movies that were released around the same time. The film follows a banker called Andy that's wrongly convicted of murder and the friendship that he develops while in jail with the inmate called Red. Despite the impactful story that the movie told, it managed to gross barely $16 million at the box office, failing to recoup its $25 million budget. It won't be until a few years later that people would finally give The Shawshank Redemption its flowers.
Making sense.
If you want to keep all that money, give it to your wife. The IRS allows a one-time...
As our number one pick, we have The Illusionist. Whenever two movies are very similar, it's sadly expected that one of them will get way more attention. The Illusionist is a perfect example of such a scenario, with the film being completely overshadowed by The Prestige, even though it was released 2 months prior. How could that happen? Well, the simple answer is marketing and audience expectations. Both films were marketed as suspense thrillers that focus on magic and the art of illusion, but The Illusionist was more of a romance drama. due to it having more elements of a classic drama than The Prestige, which was truly a mind-bending story that perplexed the audience, The Illusionist left audience members slightly disappointed. Once The Prestige was officially in theaters and delivered on what it promised, it took the front seat and completely overshadowed The Illusionist from then on out.
That's enough flight entertainment for this evening.
Okay, and that's it for today. Thank you for watching, guys. What's your favorite underrated movie and which film did it get overshadowed by? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to talk about it with you. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more videos about your favorite movies. Thank you again and we'll see you again. Same channel, different time.